Is it visible, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where we are in the last class? Where we are in the last class?
Interfaces customizing and extension completed.
Yeah. So we discussed about the interfaces concept. We are in that. In that we saw that executable method, change pointers method, message control method. So those methods we don't have any steps to perform from our end. So what we need to do, our technical duty to work on extension of IDOC, customizing IDOC, and debugging of IDOC. So these are the three things which we need to do. Correct?
Yeah, ma'am.
1 second, I'll quickly come back. Yeah. So we discussed about the extension of IDOC, customizing IDOC. Now we need to do the debugging of IDOC. Audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now we need to debug the IDOC. Why we need to debug the IDOC? The IDOC got failed. Why it is failed? Blindly we'll go for debugging? No. So we are going to check where to check that IDOC status, IDOC's runtime components and all. Where to check? Where to check? Sorry. We have the T codes. W02 or W05 is the transaction code where we can check the IDOCs. Correct? So where we can see the IDOCs. So if it is failed IDOC, so here all the status is 3, means it is success only. If it is failed IDOCs are there, then we can see that why it is failed. The reason, you can see IDOC generated, IDOC ready for sending and dispatched up to the port. It went up to the port successfully. Okay. After that, it need to receive to the other system. Then in the other system, if it is successfully posted, then finally 12 is the status, which in the another system also document posted successfully. That is the status will come. But here I don't have another system to interact, right? That's the reason it stopped up to the port. When the system is up, it is going to send. It won't fail up to that. So this is the how we are going to check the status so that we can understand where it is lying. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you check here the status, at that time you are going to get to know, oh, okay, so this is because of the some partner function is not met, port is not good, I'm not able to communicate, communication errors are coming. Then you are going to say that this is not our issue, basis issue. Okay, normally it won't come to you. Starting itself, while filtering functional, they'll check. If it is basis related, they will only send it to the basis people. So if it is functional, means if it is mandatory fields are something missing and it is failed due to that, then they are going to fill that whatever mandatory fields missed, and they will reprocess the doc. So that will be done by the functional itself. Then finally, when it is coming, means what happened. So they're not that is not a basis issue, that is not a functional issue, and finally it came to you. At that time, you need to debug the doc. How to debug the IDOC? At that time, we have two T codes for debugging the IDOC. One is WE19 and one is BD87. Both are for debugging the IDOC, means reprocessing the IDOC. How can we debug actually? So, how can we debug the program? First, we'll go to the program, SC38, open the program, click on display, and then we are going to keep on the breakpoints. Then we will run the program, correct? Same like that. So we need to debug the IDOC, means we need to reprocess the IDOC. Again, we need to process the IDOC. So for that, we have two T codes, W19 and BD87. Both are for reprocessing. Then what we are going to use, which one we are going to, what is the difference? Means if you are reprocessing the IDOC through the WE19 T code, it generates one more new IDOC. But when you are reprocessing with the IDOC with the BD87 T code, it won't generate new IDOC. Okay, so here it is going to generate new IDOC. Here no new IDOC generation will be there. So which one preferred, means for debugging only we are going to use this W19. When they are missed some mandatory fields or something, they will simply go and do the reprocessing with the BD87. When we are debugging also in development quality system, when we are debugging, we'll use W19 because that is for our testing purpose systems. You can generate n number of IDOCs. But the production system which is used by user, at that time if you want to debug, it is generating one more IDOC, means they won't accept. So we need to use BD87 only if you are debugging in the production system. Okay, so what is the difference? In W19 also for reprocessing, but it generates one more new IDOC number. BD87 also for reprocessing, but it won't generate any new IDOC. So I'll show you both the ways of debugging. For that, what we are doing, we can go here, and I want to reprocess this IDOC. Go to /o WE19 transaction and give 3226745 and then run. You can see, you can just edit the information. If you want to edit any information, yes, definitely you can edit. So whatever you want information, you can edit it here. Then we are going to check inbound function module and give the function module name. We know that for the process code already we have call in debugging in foreground and click on continue. So it's going to take you to the debugging mode. You can see it's going to start with that function module where we can debug. So refreshing, and then you are going to have all refresh, you know already, to clear the internal tables data. So there is lot of code will be there. You have to just debug and all. You can see that control record information will be there, and then we have data records information will be there. This is the control record information. Hmm. Okay. Control record is the information which is sender system, receiver system, what you are sending, that kind of information. So it is going to loop, it is sending for only one system. And then inside you can see that the data record, okay, where you have the all the data. You can see the segments, and the S data is going to have the data. Okay, so now you're going to debug why it is failed, because here there is no fail case, you can't see any error. I'm just pressing F8. You can see I just reprocess the idoc, right? See which idoc I reprocessed. 6745, correct? After finishing the debugging, you can see 322677774 means it generated one more idoc number. Clear ma? But you can debug like this. Any questions? So through BD 19, if you are debugging, it is going to generate one more idoc number. That is the drawback. Clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we can debug this with the BD 87 also. Yes. So if I want to first debug with the BD 87, if any mandatory fields also they are going to use BD 87, how they are going to edit and fill the values? In W02, W02, they are going to the IDOC first. Okay, today one generated right when I'm debugging W19, so I'm just going to that. And you can see that any IDOC which you want to debug, double click on that in W02, data record, display or change. Okay, we can do that. Why it is not? This IDOC cannot be changed because this is not the original one, which is reprocessed one, right? Which is generated with W19. That's the reason it is not allowing. We can just choose some other. You can choose any IDOC, okay, which is you need to reprocess or debug. Just go here and double click on that segment and data record display. Data record display or change. Okay. Now you can see it is allowing to change. Okay. So now I'm going to change it. So material description, whatever that description you will change it, or not only description, any field. If they missed a field, language field, they can fill that language field, or if they missed anything, that will be filled. Okay, so then come back, and then after editing in the W02, then we'll go for BD 87. So you're going to give the same IDOC number which you edited, 3226752. 3226752. Just run it, okay, and select it and process. So who will do that? Functional will do that. When if they missed any mandatory fields or something, at that time they're going to follow the steps and they'll reprocess. But our case we need to debug. How to debug? So you can keep the breakpoint at function module which is added to the process code, and slash h give it in the command box, and process. It will take you to the debugging, but here it is not directly taking you to that function module. So if you want to go, you need to go fi and all, you need to reach out. If you keep the breakpoint at function module and run, it will trigger. You can see that it is not generated any new IDOC. Okay, so it is going to reprocess the same IDOC. Old status is 32, new status is nothing. So because it is not having any issue actually. If you feel if you missed any error because of mandatory fields, they can fill the value and they can run so that it generates it won't generates a new IDOC, but it will reprocess the IDOC. New status will become which is successful status. Clear, ma? This is how we are going to debug with the BD87. So with the both the T codes, we can debug the IDOCs. But which is the best one for debugging? It is easy through WE19. But when you want to debug that in the production system, compulsory you have to use BD87. So what is the difference between these two? Both are for reprocessing. If you are using WE19, it generates one more new IDOC number. Through BD87, if you are doing, it won't generate any new IDOC number. So for reprocessing, it will be easy through the BD87. If I want to debug, it is easy through the WE19. That's the reason debugging means they'll say WE19. Reprocessing means they'll use BD87. Clear, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
So with this, I finished that whatever technical duty we have. So extension of IDOC I finished, customizing IDOC I finished, debugging of IDOC also finished. With this ALE EDI both are done. What is ALE EDI? SAP to SAP, then ALE. SAP to non-SAP, then EDI. So that also we discussed already. Under that, what you are going to send? You are going to work on outbound IDOC or you are going to work on inbound IDOC. So that also we discussed. So how many methods are there? We discussed. What is technical duty? We discussed. With that, that concept is done. But when we are sending with SAP to non-SAP, we have BAPI concept. Correct? So what is this BAPI? BAPI is nothing but remote enable function module. We saw this BAPI concept not only here, in the conversions concepts also we discussed. Correct? Remember?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, BAPI is nothing but remote enable function module. All the BAPIs are standards. Okay, all the BAPIs are standards. You can see all the BAPI starts with BAPI underscore. It's starting with B, means standard, correct? It is nothing but a function module. What is function module? We have types of function modules, right? What and all types of function modules are there? Types of function modules.
Normal function module, RFC function module,
Hmm.
updated function module.
Hmm. Good. So correct only, but little difference you have to say. Normal function module correct. RFC no. Remote enable function module it is. Updated no. Update function module it is. Okay. So just
Okay, ma'am.
correct answer.
Okay, ma'am.
So we have three types of function module: normal function module, remote enable function module. Yes, of course they'll say RFC function module in the interviews also they'll ask, but it is remote enable function module and update function module. These are the three types of function modules we have. Okay, so we are just going to use the function module. On top of it, what we are going to do, we are going to add remote enable function module. What is the use of normal function module? I can use for usability and readability. I can create in SC37 wherever I want. I can just call it. Correct. That is the use of function module. Now I'm making as remote enable. Why I want to make it as remote enable? So that I can communicate with the other system. SAP to SAP system, if I want to exchange the data, then we can going to use remote enable function module. Then what is this BOR? Business Object Repository. This remote enable function modules we are keeping under business objects Under that we have interfaces, methods, attributes, events. When we are keeping the same remote enable under the methods, then it is going to call it as BAPI. Okay, so what is this business objects? So for that we have a T code called SWO1, not 01, it is O1. So we can see all the business objects which will be used in workflows. What is this workflows? So normally we are doing some steps manually. For example, if someone is ordering for 1 lakh, so then I can't take the 1 lakh order. I need to get the permission from my manager if they are ordering for 1 lakh. Okay, can I accept that or not? If they said okay, accept this, then only we need to accept the order. So for that, what I need to do? I need to go manually and follow up with the manager. Or if the manager is sitting in the another location, you have to write a mail and get the confirmation. Correct? If the manager is not responded, I have to follow up. I need to send one more mail again, and then I need to wait. If he's not responding at all, I need to escalate to his manager saying that I am requesting for this permission, but he's not responded. I like that you will escalate on top of the managers by keeping their managers. Correct? This and all manually flow which is happening, but they want to do it in the system automation. For that, they are going to use these workflows. SWO1 is the T code where we can see the business objects which are used in the workflows. You can see bus 1001. What is that? We have the material. For that material, you can see the methods. See, so for material edit, material delete, get list, display, get batches, get detailed, and create, material create, like that we have for each and every method we have one BAPI. So where it is BAPI, just see, double click, you can go to the ABAP. You can see this is the BAPI. BAPI is nothing but a remote, and it is a function module. What kind of function module it is? Remote enable function module. It is a standard because it started with BAPI. You can see B. Okay, it's standard, which is already given by SAP. It will have import, export, everything same, but what is extra, you will have that written parameter. You're going to get the written messages which always refers to the BAPI ret 1 or BAPI ret 2, which is going to have the message number, message ID, message type, error, success, warning, like that. Always written parameter must and should will be there in the BAPIs. So BAPIs are nothing but remote enable function modules which is added under the methods, and this is the business object. When you are interacting with the other system can access that object oriented programming, means they can call this method by creating the instance, so that it is going to trigger and it is going to connect to our system and exchange the data. So BAPI can be used as both, as a interface also, as a conversions also. I want to delete all the materials, bulk of materials, hundreds of materials I want to delete. So no need to go one delete. You can just go to this BAPI, call this BAPI and delete all the materials. Or I want to exchange this data to the other system. Yes, you can use that also. So BAPI can be used as both conversions and interfaces. So how to call this? This is function module. Okay, fine. Remember about how can I know how to pass this information and all. That will be given by functional, and you can see the where use it list how it need to be passed. So because this is very rarely used FM, that's the reason it is not showing. Instead of this, I can go for create or any other BAPI so that you can see much more where use it list. Is this create, material create. For creating, I shown BDC for creating the material, but we have the BAPI also. You can use this BAPI and you can do that. But here, when you are calling the BAPI, some mandatory fields will be there. If it is suitable, you will use it. If you are not, it is not suitable, then you are going to use the BDC only. You can see like this here, there is no custom objects because this is IDES version. Normally, if you go for your real time, so there will be lot of programs will be there where you are going to pass what you need to pass like that. So this is nothing but function module, remote enable function module. Clear, ma? So it is a first function module, but when we make it as remote enable, I can exchange with SAP to SAP system by using the destination. But when you place it that remote enable function module under the business objects methods, then it is going to call BAPI. All the BAPIs are standards which is already given by SAP. So BAPI can be called. How can they call this? Is under the method, right? They can create the instance and call the method which is going to trigger and exchange the data, which supports the object oriented programming. Okay. And so difference between BAPI can be used as a interface, and it can be used as a conversion also. What is the difference between BDC and BAPI? So they'll ask in the interview. BDC means flat file will get uploading into internal table, passing to the recording, filling the BDC data internal table, then calling the transaction. Either it is session method or call transaction. You're going to send the data, means it's going to call the screens and updates the data to the tables. So this is the happens in the BDC. But now in BAPI, what happened? You have the flat file data, you are going to upload into internal table, then you are going to call the BAPI function module, pass all the data to the BAPI. What it is going to do, it's going to fill the backend structures. It's not going to call the front end screens. In the backend structures, it's going to fill the data. And when you check the return parameter, it's going to have failure and success case. If it is failed, means return. When I'm filling the structure, something is missing, then it will send a message backside saying that, hey, this is the error, this is missing, you are not filled. Like that, you'll have the failure message. Or if you filled everything successfully, then you'll have the successful message. If when you are getting the failure message, we'll use rollback, means come out of that, clear all the structures whatever you filled, come out to the program. That is called rollback. So success means everything you fill successfully, then commit work means go and forcefully update the data to the database. If you're calling only the BAPI, it's not going to update the data to the database tables. Compulsory commit work need to be called. Okay, which one is faster? Means BAPI is faster. If you are calling the screens, for example, in a transaction I have 10 screens, it's going to populate all the 10 screens, finally it's going to save. It will take time, but here in the BAPI it is filling the backend structure so that it will be faster while updating the data. So BAPIs are faster than BDCs. Clear, ma?
Yes, ma'am.
So we can use both interfaces and conversions. The BAPI can be used as conversions and interfaces also. So this is about the interfaces concept. So which we are done. Okay. So in this we learn lot of things, but everything is required. Yes. For understanding the flow, everything is required. So when you're communicating with SAP to SAP, ALE communication you're going to use. If it is SAP to non-SAP, if non-SAP supports object-oriented programming, then ADI. Otherwise, BAPI. So then we are going to have, when whether it is a ALE or EDI communication, you're going to send the IDOC, you're going to receive the IDOC. So you are always going to work with the inbound IDOC or outbound IDOC. So in that we have the methods, executable method, change pointers method, and message control method. Executable method to exchange the master data, change pointers method to exchange the master data changes to other system, message control method to send the transactional data, to exchange the transactional data. And what is our technical duty? Debugging of IDOC, extension of IDOC, customizing IDOC. Debugging of IDOC. We can debug the IDOC with the EE19T code. We can reprocess the IDOC with the BD87. We can debug the IDOC with the BD87 also. What is the difference? EE910 will generate one more new IDOC. So extension of IDOC, adding extra fields to the existing IDOC type is called extension of IDOC. Customizing IDOC, entire newly creating that is called customizing IDOC. So and BAPI also just now we discussed. So with this I finished this interfaces concept. Any questions?
మ్యామ్
Hmm.
అది ఈడిఐ కానీ ఏఎల్ఈ కానీ మెథడ్స్ సేమ్ మ్యామ్ అది ప్రాసెస్
EDA కానీ
ఏఎల్ఈలో యూస్ చేసేటప్పుడు అవి ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ మెథడ్ అవి ఉన్నాయి కదా
ఆ,
అవి సేమా?
అవి సేమే. నీకేంటి తేడా అంటే ఏఎల్ఈ అంటే అవతల సిస్టము ఎస్ఏపి సిస్టమ్ అది కనిపిస్తుంది. ఈడిఐ అయితే అవతల సిస్టమ్ నాన్ ఎస్ఏపి సిస్టమ్కి కనెక్ట్ అవ్వదు. మధ్యలో ఏ సిస్టమ్ కనిపిస్తుంది? మిడిల్ వేర్ పిఐ వాడితే పిఐ సిస్టమ్ కనిపిస్తుంది. నువ్వు సెండ్ చేస్తున్నావు ఎవరికి? పిఐ సిస్టమ్కి. నువ్వు రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటున్నావు ఎవరి నుంచి? పిఐ సిస్టమ్ నుంచి. అంటే అది ఈడిఐ. నువ్వు సెండ్ చేస్తున్నావు అనే అదర్ ఎస్ఏపి సిస్టమ్ నేమ్ ఉందనుకో, అది ఏఎల్ఈ కమ్యూనికేషన్. నువ్వు రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటున్నావు వేరే అదర్ సిస్టమ్ నుంచి అంటే అది ఏఎల్ఈ కమ్యూనికేషన్. మధ్యలో మిడిల్ వేర్ నుంచి వస్తున్నా పోతున్నా అక్కడెక్కడికైనా వెళ్తుందంటే అదేంటి? ఈడిఐ కమ్యూనికేషన్. మిగతా అంతా సేమ్. ఎగ్జిక్యూటబుల్ మెథడ్, చేంజ్ పాయింటర్స్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈజ్ సేమ్. ఈవెన్ మన టెక్నికల్ డ్యూటీ కూడా ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ ఆఫ్ ఐడాక్ అండ్ కస్టమైజింగ్ ఐడాక్ అండ్ డీబగ్గింగ్ ఐడాక్, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ సేమ్.
ఓకే.
ఎనీ మోర్ క్వశ్చన్స్? Next concept will be enhancements. What is the enhancement? To do the modifications in the standard. Why we need to do the modifications in the standard? In the last class only we saw that. Extension of IDOC. What and all steps we did? We created the segment, attach it to the IDOC type, attach it to the message type, and then BD10 transaction where I want to add extra piece of code. So, but BD10 transaction is calling that some program which starts with R, which is standard program. I can't go for change mode. How can I add the code? Means through enhancements. So in the right side, inbound side, we saw that same steps, but we have the process code matem for that function module it is attached. In the function module, I want to add extra piece of code for the segment and the fields. Correct? So that is IDOC something IDOC something function module started. I started means standard. Standard you can't go for change mode, but I want to add extra segments and filling the fields information. I want to write the logic. How to? Standards you can't go for change mode. Then we are going to use enhancements. Clear why we need the enhancements?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
So enhancements are used to do the modifications in the standard. So we can go and change, and wherever we want we can write that standard. No. So enhancements are the like a hooks which is already given by SAP. Those are available only that places. You need to find that place and write your code, implement your code. So like when you're going outside, you're going to a hotel room, correct? In that room, where is the hangers? First you need to search for the hangers. Once you saw the hangers, then you are going to hang your clothes there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Same like that. That hotel room is like a program, standard programs. That hangers are like enhancements. You need to search for the enhancement. Once you find the enhancement, then you're going to implement your code. Okay, so that is the which is already given by SAP, the standard enhancements. We need to always find it and then we can implement it. So to do the modifications in the standard only, we are going to use this enhancements concept. Under this, we have user exit, customer exit. Under the customer exit, we have function exit, screen exit, menu exit, field exit. And a body and enhancement framework, which will cover implicit and explicit. Under the explicit, we have point and section. So these and all the total concepts are available under enhancements. So we learn modularization techniques. Remember
Yes, ma'am.
what and all we learn?
Include subroutine, forms,
Hmm.
function.
Yeah. So we learn in the modularization techniques like includes type I programs. We learn the subroutines, which is performs, which is calling form and inform. Function modules, which creates in SC37, it can be called with call function. Then we learn that classes and methods. In SC24, we can create the class and we can call it in the programs. Correct? These and all comes under modularization technique. The enhancements and all going to cover under modularization techniques only. User exit are nothing but subroutines. Customer exit is nothing but collection of all these things. What is function exit, which is nothing but function module? Screen exit, which is nothing but subscreen. Menu exit, which is having the GUI status. Field exit as absolute, we'll discuss. We won't discuss that. Then baddie. What is a baddie? It's an interface. What is the interface? SAP to SAP communication? No. It's object oriented interface. Means in the classes and methods we have interface concept. That one. What is that interface? Interface is a class where all the methods are abstract methods. So that we are going to use that baddie. So enhancement framework, which is going to have implicit and explicit, which is having the point and section. So what is implicit enhancement? In all the modularization technique definition part, at starting and ending, you have the space. That space is called implicit enhancement. Means form and end form, starting and then you have the space. Function and non-function, starting ending you have the space. Method and method, starting ending you have the space. That space is called implicit enhancement. And the point and sections which is visible to our eye, so we are going to see that. Okay, so this is about the enhancement options we have. So I'll just discuss this in detailly in the next class. Okay, ma? What
Okay.
is the prerequisite for this to understand? We need to understand the modularization technique and come so that it is easy to understand this enhancements concepts. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, fine. Fine then. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.